We continue with the Operation Encore reading of selected files. This one is actually entitled Fahad al-Thumairy's Connection to Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi. And you'll see that the Saudi consulate employee is in direct talks with two al-Qaeda operatives. Khalid Monsif Benamarine is a Tunisian national who was employed as a taxi cab driver from August 2000 until his arrest and deportation in March of 2002. During an interview by special agents from the Los Angeles division on March 6, 2002, Benamarine stated that he drove two Saudis from Los Angeles, California to SeaWorld in San Diego, California. Benamarine picked up the two passengers at the Avalon West Side Apartments in Los Angeles. He performed this service at the request of the captioned subject Sheikh Fahad al-Thumairy, Imam at the King Fahd Mosque in Culver City, California, and a consular officer at the Royal Saudi Arabian Consulate in Los Angeles. Al-Thumairy is redacted and is presently living in Riyadh. Benamarine could not specify when this trip occurred other than it occurred before September 11, 2001. During the interview by the Los Angeles agents, Benamarine described the two Saudis as the sorts of a patient at UCLA Medical Center. The father was being treated for liver disease. Benamarine was shown a series of photographs that included the photographs of 9/11 hijackers Nawaf al-Hazmi and Khalid al-Mihdhar. Al-Mihdhar and al-Hazmi briefly resided in the Los Angeles area from January 15, 2000 to February 4, 2000. Now, a little bit of context here. When Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi came to the United States on January 15th, according to Dieter Snell, the 9/11 Commission, he's a staffer, a senior staffer, they could not find either al-Mihdhar and al-Hazmi. Now, this means that the FBI knew that they landed on January 15th, but didn't know where they went. Why? Because at the time, this information was not shared with the 9/11 Commission. Why? State Department classified this information. Why? Because they're protecting their interests. Had the 9/11 Commission had this information, Fahad al-Thumairy would have been thoroughly investigated and the Saudi government probably implicated. Because here you have a Saudi consulate officer in Fahad al-Thumairy, the Imam at King Fahd Mosque, who was hired there, given that position by Muassad al-Jarrah, the head of the Islamic Affairs Division in Washington, D.C. So this information would have been helpful. Right? I'll make myself disappear so we can read it. Benamarine gave extra attention to the photographs of al-Hazmi and al-Mihdhar out of all the 30 photographs he was shown, leading the interviewing agents to conclude that Benamarine may have driven the two hijackers to San Diego at the behest of al-Thumairy. Now, al-Thumairy got Khalid Benamarine to pick up the two men from the airport, drive them over to the King Fahd Mosque, where they met al-Thumairy. Now, al-Thumairy gave them residency. That's why the 9/11 Commission didn't know where they were. And it says later on in this text here, watch. Special agents from the Counterterrorism Division detailed to the 9/11 Commission on terrorist attacks upon the United States have conducted an investigation in Los Angeles in an effort to resolve whether al-Thumairy or al-Benamarine had any contact with 9/11 hijackers al-Hazmi and al-Mihdhar. Contact would have only occurred during the period of time of January 15th, 2000 to February 4th, 2000. It is possible that al-Thumairy asked Benamarine to drive some of the Saudis to San Diego to break the tedium of protracted medical treatment. As an alternative scenario, it has been determined that during July 2001, al-Thumairy rented apartment blank at the Avalon West Side Apartments at 3636 Sepulveda Boulevard, Los Angeles, on the behalf of the Los Angeles Consulate. During that period of time, the apartment was occupied by blank, his son blank, and his son-in-law blank. All this is redacted. Home was Riyadh. He may now be deceased. The Counterterrorism Division would request that a very limited interview of blank and blank be conducted. The purpose of the interview would be determined if either blank or blank recognizes Benamarine as a taxicab driver they used during their stay in Los Angeles, and if Benamarine drove the two to SeaWorld or any other tourist destination. If there is affirmative response to these questions, a follow-up question may be asked about al-Thumairy's involvement in making these arrangements at the discretion of redaction. The Counterterrorism Division would not object to the interviews being conducted directly by blank if that would also expedite a response, blank, and the descriptive data, Khalid Benamarine, right? Now, because the 9/11 Commission didn't know where they stood, they knew that they landed at LAX because they used their real names. The FBI didn't know where they stood either because they were not told that they landed inside the United States. Remember that too. Now, later on, when they were interviewing people at the King Fahd Mosque, they interviewed Khalid Benamarine and they showed him pictures, just like they do with all the other members there. And he picked out Khalid al-Mihdhar Nawaf al-Hazmi. Hey, I picked up these two at the airport, but then put them back. Robert Mueller, then the director of the FBI, killed the case and deported Khalid Benamarine. He didn't act on his own. The State Department pressured the FBI to not investigate into Saudi Arabia. That's why. Because the Bush administration were very friendly to King Fahd and the kingdom, and they were growing relations with them in the late 1990s. But they knew what they were about. And maybe, just maybe, we could have basically held accountable at least Fahad al-Thumairy or Omar al-Bayoumi had information been shared with the State Department, who prosecutes cases like this, terrorism. All right, guys, listen, have a happy Labor Day. Take care of yourself. Safe weekend. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.